Welcome back to the Blue Collar Minutemen Show, where you got some regular guys that have come together to help make America great again. Ladies and gentlemen, we're glad to be back. I'm glad to have you back with us. Just want to say thank you all once again for all the views that you've been giving us. We're steadily going up, and I have to say, this makes me smile. Bill, did we not beat out Joe Biden in number of views?
Long shot.
That's right.
Almost
right.
a couple hundred more views than Joe Biden got.
Almost 200 views more?
400.
That's awesome, man.
400.
400. 400 more views than Joe Biden's podcast.
Just want to put that out there.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you all. So we're back again today. Like I said, we've been busy. We still love doing this, and I'm telling you, there is no shortage of stories going on right now. Of course, we all know the major stuff that is going on. We're still not ready to talk about any of that yet, but we will touch on a few things. I guess the main thing today is going to be Seattle, Washington.
CHAZ, CHOP, CHAZ.
Well, which is it? What are they calling that area?
Well, it was CHAZ up until, I guess, last night, and now they want to change the name to CHOP.
Yeah, Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone has been rebranded and renamed to Capitol Hill Organized Protest.
CHOP.
Oh, yeah. So,
what are they chopping? Are they chopping wood?
well, according to this Como News, they're talking about, well, without a leader and with more voices chiming in, some protesters that have been pushing for police reform and advocating for Black Lives Matter at the now abandoned East Precinct, it's a move to get the movement back on track. So from what it looks like, these guys are so screwed up that they got off on they took two different tracks and they're trying to bring it back together.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah.
And then it also says that part of the residents don't like the name change and want to keep it as CHAZ. So maybe the situation will correct itself.
I do know one thing. If I'm going to take over a specific area that belongs to the federal government or it belongs to a state, I'm going to be a hell of a lot more organized than this.
Okay, what was that about their supplies there, Elgin, on day one?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think that they didn't expect a lot of stuff because apparently this CHOP had their medical station set up and they had a food supply set up, and this was how they were going to, do things their way, the better way. And then all of a sudden, I think it was a bunch of homeless came in and took all their stuff.
Yeah. The first day they ran out of food because the homeless just wandered in and took it.
So did they call? I just want to know, did they call the police? Did they call?
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, right?
They have been begging on social media for people to bring them vegan meals and drop them off because they're out of food.
Vegan meals, huh? Vegan? Yeah. Really?
Vegan meals. Now, we were all deployed. Yeah, we got a choice of our meals, didn't we?
Yeah.
This thing called an MRE. I'd say just drop a bunch of MREs off to them and be like, here you go. There's your vegan meal.
I wouldn't even give them that much.
Well, it just kills me. I saw one thing on Facebook where at the third thing on their list was cigarettes.
Yeah. No kidding, right? What's the first thing a U.S. soldier, when he gets deployed, what's the first thing that he's going to put in his damn packing list? Cigarettes and tobacco. We're going to bring our own because we know where we're going. Ain't gonna
have it.
They also asked for ice, but they said the good kind. Like, really? Really, guys?
What, they want ice from Sonic?
We want those little cubes. You know, the little cubes that go in the cup where you can, you know, they taste a lot better that way.
These
To
people,
me,
man,
to me, that list that they had really shows how spoiled and privileged that they are, that they
I
think that they
agree.
should automatically get these things. I
They have
don't
no
get it.
idea what they've done to themselves. All right,
No.
it's in every American's right to protest, gather. You know what? You want to protest the alien abductions of goats or something? Whatever, dude. Go for it. I ain't got time to worry about that mess.
Just don't burn stuff down.
Exactly. I'm not going to burn down my own damn community to protect goats.
And the thing I don't think they realize either, okay, these businesses, I mean, these businesses are owned, a lot of them are owned by corporations. Now that you have completely done this to an area, do you think they want to actually bring their business there?
Hell no. There's no money coming in. They're asking people to buy them cigarettes.
Did you see where the truckers are saying that they won't deliver to cities that get rid of the police department, like they're demanding there in CHAZ or CHOP?
Well,
Say that again, Bill.
The truckers, they had a big survey with the truckers, and they said CHAZ and CHOP, whatever they are, the main thing is they want the police gone. They want to get rid of the police. The truckers have said if the cities get rid of police, they're not driving their trucks in there with supplies.
Right, I heard about that. I don't blame them. I don't blame them. But watch what happens when if one of those CHOP idiots tries to hijack a truck or something, and that truck driver runs them all over or shoots one of them. Who are they going to call again? How are they going to take care of this?
You know, I spoke with one of my with a guy I deployed with, and he drove over the road trucking, and he still drives truck. It's just now I think he's driving locally, but he told me, he definitely wouldn't. He said he agrees wholeheartedly with the truck drivers. Of course, he's driven from East Coast to West Coast, and told me himself that it is not worth it as a truck driver driving into California. I mean, that's just California. He said that they tax truck drivers and hit them with so many things so much that they don't make any money when they drive into California. I mean, it's sad that it's come to that. But
yeah,
they did it to themselves.
They have no idea. I mean, I've always grown up with that whole ideology of don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Right.
Do you see where a judge now has ordered the police in Seattle to stop using rubber bullets and tear gas?
What are they going to use? Hopes and dreams?
Bullets?
Yeah, you walk away with a big bruise or a gash over your eye for taking people on. I mean, what the hell you expect's going to happen?
I mean,
he ordered weapons like tear gas, pepper spray, failed to target a single agitator, therefore cannot be used in riots anymore in Seattle.
And who said that?
Federal judge.
Wow. Well, he needs to talk to that police chief in Seattle, because I did watch
Richard Jones.
Well, I watched the interview with the police chief in Seattle, who is a black lady, and she said that they're still actually trying to help. They had reports of people being raped inside of CHOP, and that they wouldn't let them in, couldn't get to them, and the mayor is not even backing the police to try to go in and help them. I mean,
she also said that it wasn't her decision to abandon the precinct. She was ordered by the mayor.
Yeah. Now, you see where this is going? I mean, they're having reports of rape. We all agree rape is wrong, right? That's still a bad thing, right? This has to stop. You cannot go without law enforcement. This is a prime example of why law enforcement is needed.
Right. Throughout the centuries, I mean, we've learned one thing, that I hate to say it like this, but men need to be governed.
Yeah.
Lawlessness, trying to count on an individual person to do for individual people to come together as a group to do the right thing. I mean, hell, here's a prime example. I saw this on Facebook the other day, and I thought it was perfect. If anarchy and no government was actually feasible, they wouldn't need people at Kroger or Walmart to go get their damn carts from across the streets and shit, because you're supposed to be able to count on that individual to do the right thing. You can't.
Yeah.
People are lazy. They're fed by their own lazy behavior. And it's all about, well, I don't need to do that. Somebody else is going to do it, blah, blah, blah. And you got to have rules and regulations in place for people's protection, and sometimes protection for themselves. Now, personally, if you really want to thin the herd, like you hear these conspiracy theorists talk, if you really want to bring down the world population, all you really need to do is take all the warning labels off of things.
Hey.
Tide Pod Challenge.
I actually thought about doing something like, hey guys, if I try to shove my whole hand up my ass, I mean, it'll give you this much brain power, and I bet there'd be people to do it.
Well, I'm telling you, Seattle's got some big problems. I mean, I even made a comment, and I'll tell you, because some people may not have my Facebook, but I made the comment of, you know what, we should just let Seattle be the way it is, but keep all those people inside, cut off their water and electricity, and then start making them pay us for those services. And then eventually they'll start fighting each other and die off. And I think it's a win-win. You get rid of some idiots so you don't keep messing up the gene pool, and then we have more room because they're not there anymore. So we just go in, retake it, and resettle it.
Yeah.
Speaking of the money, you heard that the Black Lives Matter now is charging white people $10 a piece to help protest.
Isn't that the definition of discrimination?
I was out today. It's like, if you want to protest with us, you got to pay us $10 a piece.
Good God, man. These guys are killing me.
I don't know where the logic comes from.
It comes from not spanking your kids, giving them a trophy for participating. They can never do wrong, and they're always right. Now they're coming up.
Yeah, but Justin, it goes to show what you just said, how lazy people are. Like, rather than them doing something, let's make somebody give us money. It's like, really, dude? You don't want to go out and work?
Remember we were talking earlier, I told you what the police chief in Dallas said?
Oh, yeah.
He told the protesters, he says, I got the solution to your problem. You want to change the way police are in your neighborhoods? I got a whole stack of applications and a lot of jobs. Come down, fill one out, become a cop. I'll send you to your own neighborhood, and you can make the changes you need for the police in your neighborhood. You never got
that right there. That was smart. I like that.
You got no bites. Nobody came. I mean, it makes sense. If you want to make a change, become a cop and go to your neighborhood and make a change.
Yeah. There was a rapper here recently that he's been going on a lot of podcasts and a lot of news stations and talking about that same thing. And this young man is very well known throughout the world. His name's, oh my goodness, Lil Wayne. Trying to tell people that when he was 12 years old, he shot himself. And then when the cops showed up, a bunch of cops jumped over him to go secure the area. But man, there was one white police officer that took care of him. And he's like, you cannot judge all these cops based on a few actions of ones that didn't have proper training or ones that were actually doing bad things or nothing like that. But that young man was saying people, it's those type of men that are going to make the difference in the world. And you can't just label everyone. And he was absolutely right. I completely agree with him. And I've never been a big fan of his. But I like the fact that some of these other guys are coming out and starting to speak, you know, from a objective standpoint. One, Mike the Rapper, Killer Mike. He's the son of a Atlanta police officer. Comes from a long line of law enforcement families, but man, he's like, burning down your neighborhoods is not the right idea. Doing all this, he's like, yeah, some things need to change, blah blah blah. And when I say that, I don't mean with all this nonsense that they're talking about. There's always room for progression in society. At the individual man level, men and women, we should be constantly trying to better ourselves,
right?
Become better people for our communities, better leaders. And I'm with that. I get it.
Right.
But to burn down my own neighborhood or take over a police precinct, I mean, okay, and you had that idea. Once you establish that, let's say you get through it and you establish that dominance over that area, how are you going to take care of the people there? How are you going to feed them? How are you going to clothe them? How are you going to make sure that they have medical attention?
We're going to request that the government give us all of that.
Yeah.
Didn't you say something about that?
This apparently just happened this morning. It says efforts were underway that were short-lived in Asheville, Portland, Nashville, and Chicago to try to create autonomous zones. Guess what? It didn't happen.
Work. Yeah.
It says, and protesters in Nashville were shocked that only minutes after they started setting up their tents on government property, that they were swarmed by police officers and escorted out of the area, some of them arrested. And it says, but in Seattle, the government let us do this. And the mayor of Asheville says, you're not in Seattle.
You're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy.
Right? That's exactly what I've been like. This ain't Seattle.
You're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy.
And in Nashville, they were stopped before they were even started because the governor made an announcement and had the police in full force saying you will be arrested the minute you try. So they all disbanded and went home.
Yeah.
Even in Chicago, they were stopped.
You know, I'm not the brightest person. I'm not the smartest person. Don't claim to be. I don't claim to be the greatest leader. But when you have someone as a leader, they need to have a sense about them, not only of right and wrong, but a sense about taking care of everyone. And it's not just about pandering to one particular little group. You as a leader have to worry about all of those that you're caring for. And some of these governors and mayors have lost their mind, and it seems like they want to care more about what the Hollywood people are saying and what Nancy Pelosi is saying, and they forget about all those people that elected them to that position. So,
I agree.
Hats off. Yeah, hats off to the governor of Tennessee for that.
Right.
Well, another thing that I see a problem here, and I just read another story on this, is people's perspective. There was a tweet this girl put out that she observed a man walking across the street. Yes, he was walking across the street on a red light, but the police turned around, patted him down, and threw him in the car and hauled him off for jaywalking. She's like, and she's just saying how horrible this is, blah, 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 blah. Then, after they investigated, found out which officer was in the area and what was going on, what really happened was it was an elderly man who just got out of the hospital and was carrying his things home. The officer saw him, turned around, picked him up, and gave him a ride home. But, and Elgin, you can justify this the same as I can. What made her think he was being arrested is they patted him down before they let him get in the cruiser. That's standard procedure. You always pat somebody down before you get him in your cruiser. They patted him down and took all his belongings, put him in the car, and drove him home. But to the person on the street, he just got arrested for jaywalking.
Gosh. Yeah, seems like people are sometimes their own worst enemies when it comes to what they see and what's actually happening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
there's
just,
definitely a disconnect.
once again, like I said, we've got to get my brother on here. But once again, my brother sent me a video of he was a black man and he was being arrested. Now, the officers weren't saying anything. Did they, they did arrest him. They put him in handcuffs, put him in the back of a police cruiser. But all the while, he was yelling, yeah, they're arresting me for not having a bell on my bicycle. And my brother's like, you see that? How can you arrest somebody for not having a bell on their bicycle? I'm like, dude, I'm sure there was more to it. I'm sure there was more to it than a bell on a damn bike. I'm like, if you're that narrow-minded to think that because you don't have a bell on your bicycle, you can be arrested, there is something wrong with you.
It's just like, okay, this is one that happened the other day that I'm not going to mention names or affiliations, but it was a local news station. And the headline was, man gets arrested for racial slurs against protesters. Okay. What law do we have that you can be arrested for using a racial slur toward a protester? None that I know of. But then you read the article. That was the headline. You read the article, and it says he was also charged with DUI. Now, that's why he got arrested. Not for using racial slurs.
I mean, using racial slurs just makes you an idiot. I mean, really, it's not a law thing. That's just okay. If you want to scratch that shit off.
Now, that's what people are out there thinking. This man got arrested for making racial slurs. Well, that is so misleading. Because if you read the article, it says he was also charged with DUI. I'm like, why didn't you lead with that? Guy gets charged with DUI and then makes racial slurs for the protest. Not man gets arrested for making racial slurs.
That's because that doesn't sell newspapers, because that sells legitimate.
Yep.
And I'm going to throw this quote out there. To quote Malcolm X, the media and the newspaper is the most powerful entity in the world. It can make the innocent man look guilty and make the guilty man look innocent.
Exactly.
So that's why we are preaching so much on here. Do your research. We have been seeing time and time again that CBS, CNN, MSNBC, they're getting caught in making these fake videos. They're basically left. They're just leftist, far left as you can get. And the way that they are wording it, just like Bill said, the way that they present it makes all the difference. And if you're not careful, you can fall into that trap. And that's what most people are doing.
Exactly.
It's really upsetting that we have literally gotten to that point. I mean,
well, man, I think it all came from colleges were meant to teach critical thinking, think for yourself, blah, 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 develop your own thing. But now we've got all these liberal idiot professors in there that try to convince these, and I've seen this personally when I was in college here, where we live, here at the community college mansion. Teachers trying to convince these young white students that they were racist just because they were white. And I had no choice but to stand up and say, not one of you in here is showing me any type of racism, so don't you buy that bull crap. Not once. But now, instead of critical thinking, you got all these professors like that in here railroading these young kids into thinking just like them, instead of being objective like they're supposed to do. And now we've got an entire generation of, well, you're supposed to be happy in this world. You deserve this. No, I beg to differ. You deserve what you cut out for yourself in this world. You sit on your ass and don't do a damn thing. What the hell do you deserve? Get your ass up, go to work, make life better for you, yourself, and the community you're in. What good is a man that doesn't try to progress his own community?
Right.
I don't care if he lives in an all-white neighborhood, all black, all Mexican. It doesn't matter. But yeah, these guys are all these protesters. I could understand them to a point if they were sounding like a legitimate argument. But man, what they sound like are petulant children, not getting their way.
Yes.
They want it a certain way. So guess what, man? I'm gonna throw a damn temper tantrum. No.
Right.
I'm all for people protesting, I guess. I mean, even if I think it's a stupid ass reason and they're being misled, but you know what? That's their right. They can do it. They should be able to do it.
Peacefully.
This is not a fascist government. What's that?
Peacefully.
Peacefully. I completely agree. Peacefully.
When you start destroying other people's property, you're no longer protesting.
No, you're right. You're a criminal. You're breaking the law at that point. And I've always lived my life by a certain code to say that, you know what, nothing I do in this world, whatever I choose to do, whether it's in public or in the privacy of my own home, it will not affect my neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
It just will not. I won't play loud music at all hours of the night because, man, I've got elderly neighbors, man. They need to sleep. I'm not going to bother them. I damn sure don't want anybody coming into my neighborhood bothering me when I'm trying to sleep. So it's a little common courtesy would go a long way in this world.
Exactly.
Instead of, well, what about me? No, worry about what you're doing. Let him worry about what he's doing. And then if there's an issue that needs to come up, which there will be because we're all humans, meet on the edge of each other's yard and just talk about it.
Right.
Like men should. But can't get that now because men aren't acting like men anymore, especially with this new generation. They have this misconception of an alpha male as being some raw meat eating club dragon idiot. No, man's supposed to stand up for what's right and be reasonable and objective.
You know that, and I guess I'm going to go there. I mean, when you're talking about that type of stuff, I just look at the difference and the change in what they're trying to get your kids to do, to make your kids okay with different things. I mean, I grew up on G.I. Joe, you know, Star Wars, He-Man, all of that stuff, you know, and now it's like, I mean, Popeye, now it's like, well, Popeye was too violent. You know, He-Man carried a sword.
Elmer Fudd had a gun.
Yeah, Elmer Fudd had a gun.
That pisses me off that they've taken that away from him.
I mean, at what point? You know, I'm not saying that our generation was the greatest generation, but those things, even though Elmer Fudd had a gun, I didn't go out looking for rabbits all of that blasted time. And even though He-Man had a sword, I didn't try to find a sword and run down the street and attack a car or nothing. I'm like, let kids be kids.
Mm-hmm.
We need to stop enforcing these political views on children. And I'm going to say it again too. Now they got an issue with Chase, the Paw Patrol dog. You got an issue with a Paw Patrol dog? Are you kidding me right now?
Kids should not have to watch these shows that are laced with sexuality. I mean, and you know, I want to say this. It's going to sound kind of strange, but you know what? I understand to a point. Oh, well, kids that are gay growing up, whatever. Whether I disagree with it or not, it doesn't matter. I want all kids to feel included and, you know, all of that. But man, there are certain topics that just don't need to be brought up with these children.
No.
And kids need to have fun. Kids need to play those games. You know what? What's the alternative? Okay, let's replace Chase the dog with Charlie the coke dealer. Come on, really? I mean, at least being a cop is a profession, and you know, with the right mentality, you know, those cops make a huge difference. I mean, they change. I had one specific cop in mind when I was growing up in Oklahoma City. Man, he completely changed my view of how police officers were. Man, instead of just coming up and labeling us kids as hoodlums or anything, man, he got out and actually got to know us a little bit, watching us playing soccer at the high school. got out and talked to us, man. And that's when I realized, man, you can't just paint all of them in one bad light.
And I'm going to throw this out there. I'm pretty sure Chase hasn't done anything illegal since he is a child's cartoon. They wouldn't portray that to begin with. They wouldn't do that. But because he is a police dog, now they want him off.
Right. That's so stupid.
Let kids need to be kids, period.
I don't know if I told you, neighbor of ours brought a video down where they, I guess, subscribe to this. They have about a 1-year-old, and it was Sesame Street. And one of the newest episodes they got was this guy, one of the Muppets, whatever they're called on Sesame Street, telling this other one about, not all streets are like Sesame Street. We can't walk sometimes on some of these streets, and the police and this, and, you might get hurt, and, you can't do that. You can't walk down these streets, and you got to be gone. I'm like, Sesame Street? It's talking about, you see where I'm going? And I had, and the guy was like, it's so dangerous for us to be seen walking down these certain streets. And it's just, we're so oppressed and all this. And I'm like, that's on Sesame Street.
Once again, trying to force those political views
brainwash our children.
Right.
I would pay more attention to what the kids are watching.
I agree there.
I would definitely have a child today watch Popeye over that crap. What did Popeye do? If anything, Popeye taught you to stand up for yourself.
That's right. And he taught you to eat vegetables.
He ate his vegetables.
As much as most of us don't like spinach.
And I'm not going to knock him because he was a Navy guy, but,
I was going to throw that one out there.
Popeye was a Navy guy. He was in service to his country. And that's a bad thing?
Right.
Popeye, Flintstones, old Scooby-Doo. If someone had a child next to me right now and said, they're your responsibility, that's what they'd be watching.
Yep.
That's 30.
Well, Justin, did you have anything more? We kind of went through a slew of things.
Yeah. I will say this. This is what's been bothering me here lately. Those people that want to protest, do it peacefully, whatever. But, man, if you take your child to these protests, you are an idiot and you don't belong. Those children don't belong, should not belong to you. That is nothing but violence. You are taking your kid into a lion's den of just mayhem. And then get mad when something bad happens. Yeah, that was your fault as a parent. You do not deserve to be a parent, to put your kid in that type of danger. And I will say it to anybody, I will say it to their damn face, that was bullcrap. That person should never have done that. And they want to blame the cop. Are you kidding me? Those cops are outnumbered like 20-1. And you're going to get mad because a 7-year-old got blasted in the face? Well, you know what? I'm pretty sure that cop didn't just walk up to the 7-year-old and hit him. No. Crowd. That parent should be held responsible for that. Every single one of those parents should be held responsible.
I agree.
Yeah.
So if you're going to protest, do it right and keep it between adults. Don't take a child into something like that. That is just stupid.
Yes, let kids be kids. I've said it and said it and said it. Stop trying to force these political views. And even some parents, like Bill was saying, look at what you are letting your child watch. Look at it. Take a good hard look at it. Because I'm telling you.
And say, watch this.
Yeah.
Look at what you're watching.
I'm telling you right now, Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote, that ain't nothing to what they're putting out there now.
Dude, right? And let me tell you this, man. When it comes down to it, they're talking about how bad all these old cartoons are. But I bet 90% of these kids are playing Call of Duty at home, playing Grand Theft Auto where you can actually, in the game, have sex with a hooker in the back of a car.
Yeah.
But Elmer Fudd carrying a gun, accidentally shooting himself or whatever is bad. People need to think about that for a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Bill, you got anything else you want to
I
add?
would just like to say happy birthday to the United States Army.
Hey!
That's right. That's right.
Happy Flag Day. It says Flag Day today also. And happy birthday to President Donald J. Trump.
That's right. Happy birthday, sir.
Thank you, sir. Continue the good fight.
We got your back.
Well, that's about all I got. I don't really have much anything else. I will say this. We were going to have a special guest on today, which I think that they might have power where she lived. They were having some storms. So we weren't able to have her on. That's still a plan as long as we can work it out. This lady's going to share some good information that she's found out. I think it'll be worth you listening, and we'll keep you informed about that. As always, check us out on Facebook, Blue Collar Minutemen, and also at our email address, which is blue, spelled BLU, collarminutemen@gmail.com. And as for Twitter,
Oh, Twitter.
I tend to forget about Twitter.
And YouTube.
Oh, yes, and our YouTube. We haven't been on Spotify here lately, but when we're able to get back in the studio, we'll be back on there and YouTube. But that's all I got. Anything else, guys?
That's it for me.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you all be safe. God bless you all, and God bless America.
God bless America.
See you all.